Good morning, everyone. Part of the enjoyment of being in this music team, other than getting to play with some great people, is that when you have a theme, you try to have the songs fit the theme. This one's a real stretch. I just love this song, though, because it has to do, today's theme is forgiving yourself, and some of that has to do with just loving yourself and being okay with the way you are as opposed to judging yourself. This song is from 1964. It was Frank Sinatra, and it's kind of like it includes the words "thumb your nose" that people used to do before. Anyway, it's called "Pass Me By." You may have heard of it, but it's about, this is the way I am. I'm kind of okay with it. If you don't like it, deal me out. But I like that attitude. Anyway. And we're just going to horse around with it. Ready? I got me 10 fine toes to wiggle in the sand. Lots of idle fingers snap to my command. I got 'em of heels that kick to beat the band. Concentrating, nature can be fascinating. And to these a nose that I can thumb, and a mouth by gum have I to tell the whole darn world. If you don't happen to like it, deal me out. Thank you, kindly pass me by. Pass me by, pass me by. If you don't happen to like it, pass me by. Fine toes to wiggle in the sand. Lots of idle fingers snap to my command. A lovely pair of heels that kick to beat the band. Concentrating, nature can be fascinating. And to these a nose that I can thumb, and a mouth by gum have I to tell the whole darn world. If you don't happen to like it, deal me out. Thank you, kindly pass me by. Pass me by, pass me by. If you don't happen to like it, pass me by. Pass me by, pass me by. If you don't happen to like it, pass me by.
Thank you for that uplifting lilt today. Oh, good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Edie Crane, filling in for Rev Cheryl, who is enjoying some time away. And those of you who are tuning in via live stream, welcome, welcome. We send you our love through cyberspace. So this is a time where we settle in. Let's settle in for our prayer and just kind of leave the busyness behind. So I invite you, take a deep, luscious, centering breath. Let's be grateful that our bodies breathe, our heart beats, our food digests. Thank you. Let's send some gratitude to our wonderful body for all the wonderful work that it does for us. In this moment, let's just release any worries or cares or concerns or busyness. Let's just take a deep breath and just breathe that away and be fully present in this moment. Let's open our hearts. Let's call up that feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for the love that we are, for the love that we share, for this wonderful, wonderful community, and for all that we can be. We are so, so grateful. And let us set the intention this day to be the very embodiment of love, to speak loving thoughts and think loving thoughts, and speak kindly, and just be a radiator of love today. And so it is, and so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Thank you. And this is the day where we love to welcome visitors. So anybody is visiting us for the first time? Any newcomers? Welcome. And then we'll give you a welcome packet. And you're welcome to give us your email if you'd like, and we'll send you our Friday newsletter. But welcome. If you have any questions, just find somebody after service. And so this is the time where we love to sing. So Jim and John are going to lead us in our congregational song. So let's stand.
Decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And if I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision, right here, right now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. Can make me forget. Once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. it's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can live in my love. Once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and
Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Morning, Unity of Gaithersburg. My name is Brett Savage, and I'm pleased to share just some of the many things that are happening here at Unity of Gaithersburg, which we call transformational opportunities. I will share some today, but many are detailed in our community newsletter as well as in the bulletin, so I invite you to take a look at that for more detailed information. As far as our newsletter, you can receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. So now please take a moment to completely silence your cell phone. I saw many people going to the last minute checking their cell phones for messages and everything. Up to the very first note of the piano, they were checking their emails. So please silence them now, thank you. It's fall, obviously, and our fall book study is starting this week. For 6 weeks, starting Wednesday, we will delve into the book, Conscious Living, Finding Joy in the Real World, by renowned author and teacher Gay Hendricks. This book will teach us how to overcome obstacles and fears in order to live more deeply empowered and fulfilled. Reverend Cheryl will lead the Wednesday evening class, and Reverend Catherine Sunderman and licensed Unity teacher Bill Sunderman will lead the Sunday morning group. So sign up in the back of the sanctuary if you plan to attend. Thank you. So I know we had a couple of visitors today, and we have some people who are fairly new. So the question is, are you ready to be a voting member here at Unity of Gaithersburg if you are not already? As a voting member, you will be an active participant in the care and unfolding of this wonderful community, and it will allow you to support us and you on this spiritual journey. And if you are ready to commit to this next step, please join us on Saturday, October 19th, from 10 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. for our next new member class. So please sign up again at the back of the sanctuary on the table in the corner so that we do have supplies for you. And please know you are welcome here with open arms and hearts. Our next Spooky Chili Cook-Off will be Sunday, October 27th after service. Please make note of that. It was a great event last year. So cook your favorite pot of chili, and we'll gather in the Education Building, back there, Education Building for a delicious chili lunch together. Make sure to taste several recipes as you will then vote for your favorite using your dollars. As you all know who went last year, this is a fun and tasty fundraiser for our youth program, and we raised a lot of money last year. So once again, sign up at the back of the sanctuary for the kind of chili you will bring. There's going to be a whole wide variety of chilies. Also, is this new? Wearing your favorite Halloween costume? Also, wear your favorite Halloween costume, as there will be a prize for the most creative one. Who's... It didn't say here in my script who's voting on what's the most creative one. I guess details to be determined, I suppose. So, here at Unity of Gaithersburg, you said vote with your dollar, somebody said, for the favorite costume. That's a good idea. Once again, details on how that's happening. A talent fest. We're going to have a talent fest here at Unity of Gaithersburg. And I'm going to ask Brad to come up and tell you about it, because Brad has something about talent or something.
Yo. All right, so a couple of things. First of all, your favorite Halloween costume. How many of you have more than one Halloween costume this year? That is a great. These are the people I want to know because I think it's amazing. Number two, listening to Brett, I just really wanted to say I really want to thank all the people who come up here and do this platform work. I think it is really. It takes a special spirit to sort of fly through this stuff and to take the time to prep and all that. So to all of the people who do that, moi. And we got 5 minutes for you. So you come do platform at the talent show. Anyway, the thing that I would really like to stress is please put November 15th on your calendar. We're going into what I call the holiday slide. It hits with Halloween when candy becomes an option for me, and we just slide right through New Year's, and we know that every moment becomes planned. So we really please plan on coming and joining us for this, whether you want to play with us up here or whether you want to play with us in spirit in the crowd, because that's what it's really going to be. It's going to be just a gathering of us. People who have found our way here, and hopefully friends and family and things like that who will come along and watch our weirdness and our wonderfulness. How about I spin that upward too? There is more room on the agenda. You might have seen me scurrying around, encouraging people I know who've got a little of the talent spirit floating around in them. And please, if you have a question about, would it be okay for me to? We're so wide open in how we can express our spirit. We're really ready and willing. So please, November 15th on your calendars and decide what role you're going to play that night. And thank you, please. Yo, I got a hand up like I'm moderating. Huh? Oh, of course. Especially if they pay admission. So we'll even convert currency if we have to. I mean, come. I'm sorry. Oh, it's talent. Yeah. I mean, I think we have room. You may have to mentor them. I may ask you. Okay, now we're doing too much work in front of you all. All right, so what I may ask you to do is to introduce them as your friend and do that. So anyway, yes, wide open. I'll be here for a few minutes, or Edie's got a good brain and she'll connect with me, or Jim, or John, and it's not a big commitment. We're going to give you one little session with the guys to make sure you know what you're doing. Someday I'll tell you a funny anecdote about the variety show I did a long time ago here. And then we'll do a put together rehearsal so we don't trip over each other. We know who hands mics to who, and then we'll do our show. So it's not a big deal. So do November 15th.
One last thing. If you've ever sung in the shower and you kind of wonder what it'd be like to be backed up by a band, kind of thing like this is what we do. It's fun. You don't have to be super talented. You don't have to be a star, but it's fun to have somebody behind you, backing you up, and just letting you sing. So if you have an inclination to sing, we like backing you up. Okay.
A couple of details about the Talent Fest. Admission is $15 for adults, $5 for youth 12 and under, and $5 for anyone participating in the show. So those are the details about the cost for that. And we're doing a canned food drive. Okay, all right, Brad. All right. Okay, a couple other things I want to call out from the bulletin, if you don't have the bulletin, but if you do, please open it up. One is we have a Grandmother Circle here, which is going to be meeting Saturday, October 19th in the Education Building, so quickly read about that. And also the Sunday Crafternoon Potluck, November 3rd at 12:30. So once again, if you don't have a bulletin, get one, and you can read about those activities as well. So now, I ask that you please center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. And our focus, forgive. And let's read our affirmation together. Acting from my divine nature, I forgive. I forgive. Words uttered thoughtlessly in frustration or anger can be hurtful. When I am on the receiving end of someone's unkind words, I have the choice to forgive or harbor bitterness. I choose to forgive. We have all been careless or thoughtless at times. I forgive others as I forgive myself for words said and unsaid, and I release any resentment. Moving forward, I consciously choose thoughts and words that affirm and uplift. The thoughts I hold and the words I speak to others and to myself are carefully chosen expressions from the divine love I am. I commit to living my life as the caring, loving light of love I know myself to be. And our scripture reading from Matthew 18:22. Then Peter came and said to him, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times? Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. And now let us prepare for meditation by singing All Is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise and fall. There's a light inside that dispels all my fears, and I hear a gentle voice call. Just relax in the chair where you're sitting. And notice how your body feels in the chair. Feel the support behind your back. Notice where your weight is. And just breathe. Allow yourself to just breathe deeply. And as you breathe in, let your stomach fill up. And as you breathe out, release that. And just notice if your breathing is shallow or deep, if it's fast or slow or medium. It doesn't matter. The important thing is just pay attention. And follow the breath right to the very top when it comes in, and right to the very bottom. And notice when it changes direction. Now allow yourself to see yourself in the mirror. It's like you're standing before a mirror. Notice how you feel. Perhaps you've done something that you're not proud of. That if you had to do it over, you'd do it differently. Perhaps something you did or said hurt someone. Perhaps you didn't live up to your own expectations, getting something done. Maybe there was some place where you should have intervened, but you didn't. Maybe you've hurt yourself through some kind of self-destructive behavior. And sometimes it's hard to let that go. Now try to see yourself as younger. See yourself in your teens, what it was like to be in your teens. Now see yourself when you were like in elementary school. Imagine yourself going to classes in elementary school, playing with your friends. Now go back even further from when you were in kindergarten or nursery school. And see what an innocent little child you were. Go back even further. You were just a little baby, looking out at the world. And let yourself perceive your own innocence. There's nothing you have to do as a baby. Nobody you have to be. Just be yourself. That seems to be enough. As helpless as you are as a baby, everyone around you wants to help you. They want to make sure you're comfortable and that you're fed. And that you're safe. And why are they like this? Why are even perfect strangers seemingly in love with you as soon as they see you? What have you done to deserve this? What have you achieved? Nothing really. You're completely vulnerable. And yet, that is your strength, your vulnerability, your openness to life. Just let yourself take in the innocence of this child. It goes way beyond right and wrong. By its very nature, this child is worthy of love, just for being alive. Whatever mistakes it might make can't take away from its intrinsic value, from the love that it is in just being. Now allow this child to grow up and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and move on. All the time, bringing that innocence with them. Just imagine yourself still connected to the source of love from which you came and of which you are. Able to make choices and learn from those choices. But never disconnected from the love that you are. And looking back, yes, now that you know what you know, you probably would do things differently. But at each level and at each stage of your life, knowing what you know and knowing what you knew then, whatever you did seemed like a good idea at the time. Even if it turned out horribly, at the time, it seemed like a good idea. At the level of consciousness that you are, this is all you can do. And the way to move on is to accept yourself exactly the way you are. So that it's not just okay, but it's perfect. And see yourself as perfect. Perfect whatever you are, because you're still connected to perfection, and you are of perfection, and you are from that source, and you are of that source, and you are that source. And there's nothing to forgive. From the highest perspective, there's nothing to forgive in you or anyone else. Just allow yourself to love this image of who you are as if you're a little baby, because the baby's still in there, as innocent as ever. Despite whatever's happened. Who you are hasn't changed at all. Because it can't. It's forever. And its nature is love. And that's who you are. And that's who everyone is. And if you look for it, you'll see it. We get to choose what we focus on. Now let yourself feel your breath again. And breathe deeply. Allow the innocence that you are to be felt all through your body. And just stay with that feeling in the silence. Just let yourself rest comfortably. And feel yourself restored to the innocent baby you still are, looking out through these eyes. Feeling yourself breathe. Imagine yourself seeing that innocence in others. Everybody's doing the best they can. And you have the ability to see more in them than they're currently showing you. And that's your gift. And it's also your gift to yourself. And you can ask for help in this. The whole universe wants you to know who you are. Truly. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I give, so I receive. I can see what I believe. Only I can limit me from my divine bounty. I am spirit. I am What I'm seeking calls to me from my brother's heart. I am spirit. I am free. I am spirit. I am free. I am spirit. I am I am free. Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about forgiving yourself. It's hard. Forgiveness is so vital to your life and your health and your relationships and having intimacy. It's all depending on forgiveness. It's kind of like the most important thing you can do in life. In the years that I was married, I realized that it's just a series of forgivenesses just put together, you know. You get to know somebody because of boundaries. Intimacy happens because of boundaries, because there's a defined mark between where you start and where somebody else begins. And yet, as you get together with a person, it's inevitable. They will violate your boundaries, and you will violate theirs. Sometimes not meaning to. I used to tell people, look, everybody's going to abuse you to the extent that you let them. But it's not because they're bad. It's just they won't know it. If you don't have any boundaries, how are they going to know they just crossed them? You have to object. I don't know if you know that. The word object, it's based on the idea that if you, there's a chair right there, okay? If I just walked and I went right through the chair, that wouldn't be a chair anymore. Do you get that? That's like a hologram or something, but it wouldn't be a chair. The reason it's a chair is because when I try to walk through it, it objects. See that? I hit the boundary and it objects, which is why it's called an object. Okay? I mean, it's basic stuff, but it's a big deal with people because it's very important that when someone crosses a boundary, if it's not okay with you, you object. And then we'll see. Then we'll find out if we have a future. People tell me they fall in love with somebody and, oh, this person is great. My first thing I say to them is, had any fights yet? Hit a glitch? If you didn't hit a glitch, you don't know anything about intimacy. Intimacy is not just being close. It's about forgiveness. It's about violating a boundary, talking about it. I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like you saying you didn't like that. Uh-oh, another boundary just got crossed called don't ever criticize me. You know? And it's funny. I probably told you this before. When we used to leave here, you know, I would ask Lauren what she thought of the music. And sometimes she would like honestly tell me what she thought, and I would just stop her and say, no. I meant, what did you think of the music on a scale from 9 to 10? Or, like, was it a 9 or was it a 10? That's all I wanted to know, you know. It took a while for us to get that one down. So, forgiving somebody else sometimes is easier than forgiving ourselves. Because it's kind of a discrete thing that happened. They said something, they didn't say something, they hurt your feelings. They did something that you didn't like. But that doesn't like live with you unless you make your whole life about it. Some people do. But it's actually easier to forgive somebody else for something they did because it's not continuously affecting you. But it's a lot harder to forgive yourself because you have to live with you and what you did. And I read an interesting article. There's this guy who's made his whole study about forgiveness, Fred Luskin, PhD. And he said the biggest obstacle to self-forgiveness is our tendency to wallow in our own guilt. It's not just that we feel bad because we know we've done wrong. Everybody does that. But some of us actually draw those bad feelings around ourselves like a blanket, cover our heads, and refuse to stop the wailing. I can't believe I did that. I just can't believe I did that. I could never forgive myself for what I did. Just beat themselves up. If it sounds nutty, it's because it's almost like somebody saying, you curl up in a ball and you say, hey, look how bad I feel. See how I'm suffering? I'm pitiful. I'm pathetic. I can't be punished any more than this. It wouldn't be fair. Okay, so you're like, you ever see this thing where it's like somebody can't get mad at you because you're so mad at yourself? So it's like, I know you want to throw a punch, but I'm already hitting myself with a bicycle chain. You know what I mean? And no need. I got this handled. Hate myself. It doesn't really help. And people who won't forgive themselves don't really get any better. You might feel like I deserve to be hateful of myself because I screwed up and there's no excuse for that. But it doesn't. It betrays who you really are. And it has very strong consequences. The consequences of people who have trouble with forgiveness have a much higher incidence of heart attack, high blood pressure, depression. You can't get away with it. It's so important to all of our relationships. And we can speak about forgiveness on many levels. One of the ways in working with couples all the years, I would know if I forgave someone. I found this out. You know you forgave them if you don't anticipate they'll ever do it again. If you think, they'll probably say this, or they might do this, you haven't forgiven them. If you ever notice that in yourself, that you're anticipating in the future that they'll do the same thing they did in the past, you haven't forgiven it. When you forgive it, you don't imagine that. They still might do it, but you don't imagine it. It doesn't occur to you like that's going to happen again because it's over. So how do you get to that place where it doesn't even show up like they might hurt you again or hurt your feelings or something? Part of it is you have to identify what it is. You have to really know what they did or said that you didn't like. And if you're in a relationship, you probably need to tell them. Sometimes you can't tell them, though. You don't have that opportunity, or it's not appropriate, or they're not really open to listening and stuff like this. And then what do you do then? Well, I guess it's much easier to make yourself wrong, but that doesn't help either. But the answer to me is what's so unique about Unity, which is that we get to see things from a much different perspective. The higher you get, the more you look at things from a larger, higher perspective, the less you just have a way of seeing things differently, and it frees you up. It really frees you up. The idea that everybody's doing what they think they should be doing, it's probably based on their level of consciousness. I talked about this before, but years ago when I meditated, Maharishi used to say, knowledge is structured in consciousness. The level of consciousness you have opens you up to a whole world of knowledge. If your consciousness goes higher, you get some more knowledge that you didn't have at a lower level. So it's the most amazing thing to me is that we can be a steward of our thoughts. We don't just have to wallow in it. We don't just have to beat ourselves up. We can rethink things. We can tell a different story. And that takes a lot of courage because it's very fetching. I mean, you've got a great story already. Like, are you kidding? I completely blew it. I had a chance. I went outside and I did it, and I told myself I wasn't going to, but then I did it, and then this bad thing happened, and it's my fault. That doesn't really work. The only thing that works is to find out that it isn't what you did back then that's bothering you. It's what you're thinking now that's bothering you. It's what you're feeling now that's bothering you. If you let your thoughts right now reactivate that stuff in the past, then in the present, you're not forgiving yourself and you're beating yourself up. So it isn't really what you did. That happened. That's gone. It's where are you about it? What are you doing about your life? It's interesting how it's been said that the mind is a terrible master, but a wonderful servant. And it's true of the ego. You know, you need an ego. If you have this body, you're going to need an ego. But it's supposed to be your servant, not your master. And it'll always say, you know, hey, can I drive? Hey, can I drive? Do you mind? Can I drive? Can I drive? I said, all right, you can drive. Bang, hits the curb. Every time it's like, bang. No, this time, can I drive? Can I drive? So he wants to drive, wants to be in charge. Terrible master. And it has nothing better to do than sort of send you around the barn with all these thoughts. But it's a great servant because if you say, okay, this thing happened, I'm not crazy about what I did, I wish I would have done something different, but what's another way of looking at this? What's another way of seeing it? Haven't you ever had something that you were sure was terrible, but it kind of turned out to be great? I remember when Lauren and I were trying to adopt a child. It was a very difficult time in our life. And we'd had fall-throughs, people who changed their minds. But this first woman we found, we just got our hopes up so much. She was gorgeous, and she was just out of college, and she found out she was pregnant, and she's like 2 weeks pregnant or something. And we met her, and she just seemed lovely and intelligent and felt like, and we were early in the game. This was private adoption. You know, we put ads in the paper, and we met this woman. And she went to the bathroom, and I said to Lauren, you know we could never make a baby as good looking as we're going to get. You know that, right? Anyway, Lauren got very attached to this woman, and she went with her to all of her doctor's appointments. So we went and we went and we went and we went. And at some point, she said she had an uncle who couldn't have kids. And we went, did you ever think of giving the baby to the uncle? And she said, no, that would be weird because I'd be the mother and I'd also be the aunt. And we said, you're right, that'd be totally weird. Don't do that. But we met her, and we met her mother. And her mother was, now they knew us, we knew them as private adoption. But that thing didn't work out. It was very disappointing, but like 2 weeks, she stopped communicating with us 2 weeks before she was due. And it was like not answering calls. And I think she was just embarrassed to tell us. She gave the baby to the uncle, by the way. But looking back on that experience, one, it brought Lauren and I closer. It got very, very clear how much we wanted a baby. But two, we later admitted we couldn't stand this mother. She was going to be in our life. And all she talked about at lunch was who she sued. This is the most litigious woman I had ever met. I sued him and I sued him. It's like, uh-oh, you know. So I don't know, maybe we dodged a bullet. That wasn't our baby. when you understand things from a different perspective, it's kind of easier to forgive. The thing that's most interesting to me is forgiveness happens on that level where you cross a boundary and you hurt, and then you recognize it and you talk about it and you let it go. And you feel the feeling and you feel the emotion and you release it. You need to tell the truth while you're feeling it. You can't just say, you're an idiot, but I'll forgive you. It's not it has to be something that's your experience that you talk about. And I train people to do this. But there's another type of forgiveness that kind of is a much larger perspective around the ins and outs of boundary violations. And that has to do with releasing ourselves from the existential guilt we feel that we can't seem to forgive ourselves for separating from God. That's the big one. That we walk around in a body feeling separate from our source most of the time. It's hard to let yourself off the hook for that one. Even if you have a story about, I just wanted to see what it felt like to be in a body or something, maybe before I was born. That's really what runs the show. That's the most important forgiveness that you can have. Because the truth is, there's nothing to forgive. Because you never did leave. You aren't separate. And you can't be separate because you are of God. And that's your nature. It's your divine nature. And that's why on this other level, forgiveness doesn't need to exist. There's nothing to forgive other than not guilty. And that was supposed to be Jesus' lesson for everyone. No, I'm not damaged, so you're not guilty. I'm not a murderer. You're not a murderer because I'm not murdered. And so the recognition that you're actually okay. Somebody might have done something you didn't like, said something you didn't like, but they can't damage who you are because of that. Because who you are is of God. And that is your nature. And the clearer you are about that, the less there is to forgive. There's nothing to forgive. When you have children, you realize you don't even have to say anything. They're just forgiven all the time. They live in a domain of forgiveness. They're constantly screwing up and you're constantly forgiving them. But so what? That's just the nature of being alive. And they think they blew it with you, just like we think we blew it with God, but not really possible. Not really possible. They can't blow it with you. Even if you're mad at them, they can't blow it with you. Because that connection is the only thing that's real. The love that you feel is the only thing that's real. Everything else is just an illusion. So I wanted to do a little song. We've done it before. It's called My Divine Nature. I'm not finished the talk, though. I focus now on my divine nature, the love inside of me. And when I live from my divine nature, love is all that I see and all that I'll ever be. I live inside a world of abundance where every need is met, and coming from this place of abundance with worries I'm no longer beset. My blessings I do not forget. I am the light I've been seeking, and I am the peace that I need. I am the power of love in the world. I am the soul that is free. And I deny the thoughts that would take me away from this sacred truth. And I affirm that my divine nature is the same one that you enjoy too. It's the love that I see in you. I am the light I've been seeking, and I am the peace that I need. I am the power of love in the world. I am the soul that is free. And I deny the thoughts that would take me away from this sacred truth. And I affirm that my divine nature's the same one that you enjoy too. It's the love that I see in you, the same one that you enjoy too. It's the love that I see in you. Part of what we can do is we can always see people as their innocence. If you look for it, everybody's innocence will come forth to you. Something about them is still the same little kid looking through those eyes. It doesn't matter what's happened with their skin or, or what gravity has done to them. They're just, they're the same kid. Nothing's really changed. It's who they are. They're just love, like a lovable baby, And if you're having trouble with someone, just see them as younger and younger and younger still. Because on that level, that's all they are, is love. Years ago, it's funny how things come full circle, but I used to have this, I used to make fun of Anjanae and Alan because of the corny songs they sang from that hymnal. Remember that? Wings of Song, very corny songs, but looking back on it, I kind of loved them. So we're going to do one. I have the slides. First of all, let's do this one. I forgive everyone for everything, including myself. That's not a bad thing to aspire to. One more time. I forgive everyone for everything, including myself. Anyway, this song is called, what is it? I can't remember. What was it again? Oh, yeah, I love myself the way I am. Do you remember this? What? Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. Okay, we'll do it in just a minute. It's part of the offering song.
Yeah, okay. We'll do the prosperity wisdom, and the song will be played on the prosperity wisdom. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. As you prepare to place your tithe or consistent giving card in the offering bag, or to give online as you join us via YouTube, here is some prosperity wisdom from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. A committed giver is an incredibly happy person, a secure person, a satisfied person, and a prosperous person. When you discover the wonder of giving, it can be one of the great discoveries of your life. It is the key that makes truth work. Let us now affirm our offering blessing together. Divine love, I am. Blesses and multiplies.
Please sing along to this one. Ready? I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful, I'm capable of being the best I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel love inside myself, it's easy to love you too. Behind your fears, rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. Love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. Change outside can only come when deep inside I know I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Well, I'm beautiful and capable of being the best I can. And I love myself just the way I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to welcome in now. I've got you, I've got me.
I got us coming together. I got me. I got us together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together.
Thank you. I love that introduction. Today we talked about the gifts that we have and who we are and the wonderful things we love about ourselves, and they made shields to represent them. And so
I forgot my shield. Well, I didn't forget it. I hung my shield up in the other building, whatever building, I don't know, for display. But mine said, "I am hopeful," with a rainbow and cross on it. I am happy. I am hopeful. I am strong.
happy. I'm one of a million!
Thank you. Let's stand and bless these. One of the world. Live
As the light. Remember this week that forgive yourself and everyone you see, and there's nothing to forgive. Have a great week.